Bob was very positive. He was a very generous person. He was a people person. He got to know his people. His people loved him. He loved RPM. He touched a lot of individuals and a lot of people. He was a great guy.
To me, legacy comprises a lifetime of relationships, accomplishments, truths, and values. And it lives on with those whose lives have been touched by Bob. The amazing outpouring of love and emotion for Bob, expressed by so many worldwide, including the recognition that is being bestowed on Bob here tonight by his peers, best exemplifies Bob's legacy. In essence, one's legacy can be gauged by the number of hearts touched, and Bob has touched many.
You know, Bob was a big personality, and so he left a big mark everywhere that he was engaged. From RPM, where he helped us immensely during a time of rising regulation and some contingent liability issues that were huge for us, to his passion at Benedictine with his family, and so Bob left a big mark.
Bob Matejka's impact on the community and the workplace, I think, is really exemplified by his time commitment to Benedictine High School. Despite all of the time commitments at home and at work, he took an enormous amount of time volunteering at Benedictine High School. That was his alma mater, and he ended up on the Board of Trustees. And I think his commitment of time and treasure to that high school really enabled a lot of young men to get a quality education.
You know, there's a great expression: you give your time, your talent, your treasure. Bob gave that in spades. He was passionate, committed, so that clearly was his mark in the community.
For Bob, it was never about Bob. It was always about the people that he was with. He didn't want public acclaim. In fact, it was quite the opposite. He wanted to make sure that the people that were surrounding him were the ones that were focused on. And you always felt like when you were with Bob that you were the focus, and you knew that he was looking out for your best interests. And that really, I think, was part of what made him a good leader. And as a good leader, he had influences, not just from a business perspective, but in his family, his network of friends. He was really able to pull people together and motivate people to a common goal. And at the end, Bob was just authentic. He was a genuine person. People wanted to be around him. You wanted to surround yourself with Bob and people in his network.
If I'm in a foxhole and in battle, Bob's a guy that I want in the foxhole with me. That, you know, so principled and pragmatic, you know, a guy that you could trust implicitly, that would have your back covered, and probably above all else, an incredible sense of humor.
I think there's probably a half a dozen bars between our Medina, Ohio headquarters and his home in Gates Mills, where the old TV show Cheers Like, Bob would walk in the door and the bartender and half the people at the bar would say, "Bob!" So it gives you a sense of his personality and presence.
And that really is the way that Bob was in the workplace as well. He had an open door policy. You were able to always talk to Bob about anything. And he was really a fierce advocate for his staff, which was really important because you always felt like you were supported by Bob and that he always had your back. And for me and for many others, he was a mentor. And when I think back on my professional career, and I think of a short list of people that had a marked positive impact on my career, Bob's at the top of that list. And I was really fortunate to be able to be part of Bob's life, and his active mentoring of me really had a profound impact and helped me both personally and professionally. But overall, I think I'm going to cherish his friendship.
He retired, and I think the best time we had together is after we had a hiccup with an outside recruited CFO that didn't work out. I was desperate to get some experience back and asked Bob at age 67 if he would come back and be RPM's CFO. And we had a wonderful 2 years together. He really built the team, our whole finance and accounting team that exists today. And I remember talking to Bob saying, "You know, Bob, I wish he had 10 more years." And he looked at me and said, "So do I."
I miss him deeply, as I know so many others do. But Bob, I want you to know that you're always in my thoughts, and that I'm working hard to prepare for the next time that we meet. In fact, Bob, so hard, I actually printed up these cards to help. And I just turned one of these cards over to one of our friends, some of them mutual, and it just says the Bob Matejka Special. Crown Royal Manhattan on the rocks with a hint of vermouth, 2 olives, no cherries. I'm working hard on them, buddy, but I promise you, the next time we meet, I'll be ready to toast one with you.